Carter, the Power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Blake, we've got spring tackle football. I wish I could say that I'm better. I'm going on a 5-day fast, and it's only day one. And I was in the freaking fetal position, just wanting a little Debbie cake. But yeah, what's
I've
the
done
long?
multiple 24-hour fasts. They're not that bad.
Okay, 24 hours, not bad. I've done 2 24-hour ones, but now I'm just going right into a 5-day. So how do you sleep? Well, what should I?
Well, first off, you shouldn't do a 5-day.
You do
You
3?
should work your way into it. You should probably do 72. The
72?
longest I made it was for like 40 hours, and I literally I ate 2 like thick ribeye steaks, and I'm like, screw this. I ate like a half a jar of strawberries. I'm like, screw this. I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because you're just going to gain the. I mean, you'll lose fat if you do it for you do it once a week, which I try to do it once a week. But it's tough, man. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but
I should do it. I got a couple pounds to go here to hit 100. I might. You know what? I'm going to do a 48-hour fast. I'll start it right now.
Let's go. Start it up. Have you had dinner? Have you had dinner tonight?
I did.
Okay, so we're set. Let's go. 48 hours.
I don't know if I want that to be my last meal on this journey, but we'll
what was it?
I had pulled, or no, I say pulled, but pot roast. Okay, Mississippi pot roast.
Okay.
Just the pot roast.
Okay.
And I had strawberries.
Okay. Nice.
I don't know if I want that to be my last meal. By the way, I went on a deep dive. This is completely off topic.
Yeah, that's fine.
Somebody on a podcast did a thing where like they went down and they ate all of this, like people who are on death row, all of their last meals. Some of these people are complete sickos. Like this is what one guy asked for a turkey sandwich on white bread with mustard as his last meal and a Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm literally ordering a whole bucket of Popeyes, 2 ribeye steaks. I'm going to get me some waffle fries. I want some cane sauce in there somehow.
Yeah.
I want ice cream. I want a whole fifth of Jack Daniels. Like, I mean, or the bet, because I don't think they're going to give me Pappy Van Winkle in that thing. I'm going all out. You know what I mean? Like, they'll give me some Jack Daniels, but if that's my last meal, I'm going out.
Let's go.
What would be your last meal here?
Dude, honestly, it would be lasagna. I would go.
Okay. I can do it.
I picked something Italian because I'm with my favorite Italian right now.
I go my grandma's spaghetti and meatballs.
Let's go. I think.
But she never just put meatballs in them things, Pauls. She put Italian sausage. She put boiled eggs in there too.
Boiled eggs?
Yeah, you want to hear the story about Italians and where boiled eggs and spaghetti came from? They were so poor because, I mean, listen, we're talking about getting off the boat here, okay? They couldn't afford protein and they didn't want to kill cows. So my grandfather was a strawberry farmer his entire life. And he would grow some cabbage and other things, peppers and other things too. But legitimately, they didn't want to kill their mules and they didn't want to kill their farm life. So instead of just the form of protein that they get would be eggs. They boil the eggs and put them in there. So they have spaghetti and red sauce or what they call gravy. Okay. And they would put boiled eggs in it.
I got to try it now. I hate boiled eggs, but I gotta try Mama's spaghetti.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't going to get the sauce down. It's all about the sauce. It ain't got nothing to do with the proteins. It's all about the sauce.
Right, the sauce. There we go.
Get some sweet when some sweetness in there. But at the end, if you're a true Italian, you got some real kick at the end.
Yeah.
Like, still like, holy shit. This stuff is good. Anyway, all right. We got a lot to talk about. Carter, LSU does have a defensive line coach. Kyle Williams is going to be the next defensive line coach. Already out there coaching spring football, believe it or not. I heard he's been received really well. I know it's been like a whole weekend since it's happened. I haven't talked to you about it, though. I guess your thoughts overall about Kyle Williams and making this move after you've had a rotating door there.
Yeah, I think it's a fine move. I would prefer this and, going out there and spending another $1 million plus on another defensive line coach that like Bo Davis would be the top of the top defensive line coaches. I'm perfectly fine taking a flyer on this, Blake. Obviously, he's getting paid well, $700K a year with very little defensive line experience. But like many have pointed out, I just don't think him not being a recruiter, we don't know if he's a good recruiter or not because, he just got here. He's never really been a collegiate coach. I just don't think that's as important anymore in the NIL transfer portal era. It's just going to come down to how good of a coach you are, and we'll see if he is indeed actually a good coach. So obviously, from an old school LSU football standpoint, especially considering he was a big reason why our natty era here in 03 got started, him, Chad Lavallee, and that defensive line. Mm-hmm. It's cool from an LSU fan perspective, but if he hits the ground running alongside Kevin Peoples, this LSU defensive line should be pretty good.
Well, the big thing is he's not taking over the entire defensive line.
Right.
I think that when you hear D-line coach, you're like, oh, he's going to be over the whole D-line. No, he's over the defensive tackles. He's the defensive tackles coach.
Yes.
I saw a lot of people in our media corps talking about that they don't like, or fans too, that they don't like that he doesn't have experience. Big dog. I don't mean this in a wrong way. He played in damn near 200 NFL games. So when Bo Davis was coaching, by the way, Bo Davis, who was not a position coach at LSU, when Kyle Williams was here, one dude was playing on the field and another dude was coaching. Now, Bo would have him when it comes to recruiting, which Bo Davis said today. I know you heard Jock. He goes, it's a completely he confirmed that he's tired of it. He's tired of the NIL game. He's tired of recruiting at the current moment. Okay, sounds good. When it comes to an experience part, for me, Carter, the dude's played in damn near 200 NFL games.
Right.
I mean, he's got over 100 tackles for loss. Carter, he's averaging 10 tackles for loss a season in the NFL. Undersized, with multiple head coaches and multiple defensive coordinators. From a technical and tactical, as Brian Kelly always likes to say, who's better to teach?
There's not many. And Blake, I am a big believer in high school coaches in general. I think
it's the biggest place of development anywhere.
Yeah, I tend to think like, and I know I have a ton of high school coaches I watch, so I am biased when it comes to this, but I don't think the knowledge gap between some of these high school coaches who are freaking wizards, right? I don't think that gap between them and collegiate coaches and even NFL coaches is something insurmountable, if you will, especially at a position like defensive tackle. Now, I play DT. It's my favorite position in all of sports, but this isn't a completely complex position to coach either. Like, he's not coming in to coach quarterbacks. He's not coming in to coach offensive line, where your position coach schematically and experience really, really, really does matter.
He's got to know a lot about the running game.
Right. So I like Kyle Williams. I don't think I'm with you on the experience thing. Maybe if it was a different position, I'd feel differently, but I am in on Big 9-5 coming back to Baton Rouge.
All right. You brought up the recruiting thing. Here's the thing with recruiting. This room, this situation has gotten the way it is before Kyle Williams even got there.
Yeah.
8 coaches, the other 7 coaches before him since 2000, that has nothing to do with Kyle Williams. Zero. Absolutely nothing to do with Kyle Williams. I think it does the biggest thing and brings you consistency. Like nobody in college football, NFL can do this, so you got to always watch out. But nobody in college football is coming to getting Kyle Williams and taking him from you. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
So unless an NFL team at the end of the year comes in here and takes Kyle Williams, you get the consistency part. In reference to the recruiting, Carter, I don't mean this in a wrong way. You got to shower him with millions and millions of dollars in recruiting. I'm done pussyfooting around about it. Justice Terry came out to On 3. I don't know if you saw this. The number 1 defensive tackle in the country. He says, he by the way, he's playing spring football for them right now. He goes, I'm a Georgia Bulldog. I'll always be a Georgia Bulldog. Texas gave me more money. He said that to On 3. The reason that he flipped was because they gave him more money. My only point in that is You want that room to be better? You got to go spend ungodly amount of money to go get it better. It's the only way that you can make it that way. By the way, I'll throw this out there to you. How did Texas do it?
They spent. Well, and the best defensive line was Ole Miss. They spent. I mean, Walter Nolan, what they paid him ended up being one of the biggest bargains in all of college football.
They paid him like $400,000. It's the biggest deal ever. All right.
Yeah.
Kirby got away from paying a lot of high school players. You know which position group per on 3 that he paid the most?
The trenches. The
trenches. Yeah. The offensive linemen are making the most money. My only point here is it's not a Kyle Williams issue alone. It's a everybody issue. It's a Brian Kelly issue more than anything. It's like everybody's got to be involved there on the defensive line. I mean, call me crazy, but it's not just his. It's not on him alone is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, Blake. And honestly, a lot of it's going to come down to Blake Baker getting everybody aligned properly. This is a schedule that's going to feature plenty of quarterbacks that can run, and that was obviously the Achilles heel of this defense, and stopping that's going to be big. And, listening to your spring practice report going into it, there's just going to be so much change, and in particular in that offensive line, like you mentioned. Josh Thompson's going to be such a big difference maker. But the guy that's interesting to me is Jakeem Jackson. This was a guy, Blake, that I wasn't a gazillion % on fire about, coming over. I thought he was a fine prospect, top 100, but I was like, okay, maybe this isn't the best move. But so far in practice, he's killing it.
He shut him down in day one. Look,
yeah,
anybody can have a really good day at this level. Anybody, right? I mean, like, let's just be real. Shit, you're running stride to stride with Chris Hilton and Barry Brown, and you strip Nick Anderson. Bro, the interception comes from him stripping Nick Anderson and tiptoeing down the sideline. By the way, boundary corner kicked the shit out of people on Saturday. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say what happened, because if I say it without any other witnesses, like what happened, people were mad at me when me and you talked last week. I'm not going to say what happened. You know what happened. I know for a fact they had 3 picks. Carter, the boundary corner all last spring, Ashton Stamps had 2. Mansour Delane did not get thrown at, by the way. Didn't get thrown. Chris Hilton was the only person that they would remotely come close to testing anybody's speed. So it's day one. All of this can change. So, they're not even in plans yet, right? Like,
but it will change. But
it will change. I don't have a sample size of anything. But here's what I know a year ago today. What I know a year ago today was simple. We came out of that in day one saying, brother, this secondary is getting cooked. They're getting absolutely cooked. So what's the inverse of that? Oh, you ain't getting cooked right now. I mean, we're going to say Chris Hilton and Barry and Brown are slow. I mean, I don't think that. So I'd love to hear that from the defense, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the name that's interested me, and I'm not just saying that because of the clip. And that play was incredible. I'm outside of just that play. I'm with you, Blake. I've heard nothing but good things. I gave him a single-digit number. I think that's something. And wait, what'd you say?
Ocho.
Let's go. The J.C. Horn number. Talk about a day. But I hope he is really, really, really good. And we could see that hopefully in actual games next year.
Let's stick on defense. I don't know what they're going to do at Star. Okay. I don't think that I don't know. I don't want to talk about the safety position right now, because I don't think they have any idea what they're doing there right now. Now, Tamarcus Cooley started along with Javian Toviano, and they just did some other special things with their package. They went full 4-3. They just moved CJ Ross out there. I mean, they were in a 4-3. They were not going star like what they'd been doing. They were being very traditional without a star. I think this is, I don't know what they do there. Carter, I heard linebacker was a little interesting, where CJ Ross in day one made a massive impact against some of those upperclassmen guys.
Yeah, he was committed to LSU for so long, and
we forget about him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you really do fly under the radar. If you're, and there honestly was nothing coming out of him or his camp whenever signing day was coming along. You might have heard differently, but it wasn't like a big kerfuffle of
At all.
if he was going to sign or not, right?
Mhm.
So when you think about it, almost every recruit, well, not almost every recruit, but there's buzz about this guy visiting here, or is he thinking about going here, or whatever. Ross just stayed solid to LSU the whole time, and we kind of forgot about him in many ways.
Speed,
But
buddy. Speed. Serious
yeah,
speed.
and he's a traditional linebacker, right? You
Mhm.
have a vision of what he can be, right? There's no tweenering, if you will, with what he could be for your defense. So I'm with you, Blake. I'm really excited about him, and hopefully he can give you some snaps next season.
Well, look, just throwing this out there for people. This is a kid, okay, who, by the way, in the 100-meter at linebacker was second in Texas with a 10.45 100-meter dash. Just to throw this out there, you know who ran that same time a year ago? Caden Durham.
Well, what was Ross's time again?
10.45.
That's crazy.
I know, dude, literally. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens on Wednesday when we get out there. Some people already have gotten beaten out on day one. I'm just letting you know there are some guys, there are some kids, and there are some transfers. They just gonna throw in the fire and see what happens, Carter.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Durham did crack 10-3 at some point, but your point still remains the same. I also saw a kid in Texas run a sub 10 second 100 meter. Did you see that this weekend? That there was just some random kid, not a football player.
Well, hold on. Let me just say this. You know who Charles Ross lost to in the 100-meter dash? Jelani Watkins, who ran a 10.22.
That's crazy.
Jelani, you got the two fastest players in Texas. One's a wide receiver that's probably not going to come back to football the way that he's running track right now. The second fastest kid, by the way, in that same time frame, just throwing it out there, he's second to Jelani Watkins, who's running track at LSU at the current moment. So, again, the kid got out there and started running, and they were like, this is what I was told by a source. Holy shit. Like, holy shit. What have we done? Like, who is this kid? Like, who is he?
Let's go.
Well, he's that. The point that they were making is that he was that fast sideline to sideline. Here's the thing, though. Pads aren't on. A guard's not getting to the second level on him. So I say that. Let's see what happens when pads get on. But speed is speed, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And Blake, the linebacker room is somewhat ambiguous,
It is.
With Weeks and Perk not basically being around during the spring. There's snaps to be had there. And honestly, this is going to push Devon Keys. Is going to push a few of the other guys as well to take their game to the next level.
West Weeks better be fearful. Everybody in that room better be fearful. You know who else better be fearful? Perk. When he comes back to star. Y'all think this is a game. Like they weren't. All right. Y'all go right on ahead. This kid's going to play because he's got speed, brother. They're going to find a way. Again, what happens when pads come on? We can change our tune. But, all right. God, he started with the ones.
I'm pumped. I'm with you, man. I'm
all right.
I'm more pumped than a Bear Jones swing right now, man.
That dude's got some Mark McGuire power. All right. D-line, this is what it was. I want your thoughts. Jamari Butler at one edge, Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro, Patrick Payton. When you hear that defensive line, you think what?
This should be a pretty solid group. I think everyone would admit that this isn't going to be an 03 group or an 11 group that was like an all-time great group, but it is a step in the right direction. Yeah. It's going to be hard to replicate what Braden Swinson did because he was so phenomenal from start to finish. But Patrick Payton, when he's fully locked in, has the same upside. And I will say this, so that, I've released my Patrick Payton film study on Power Hour LSU. He is the best pass deflector I've ever seen any defensive lineman. I mean, it is ridiculous how good he is at doing that very thing. It's like, man, should he have played volleyball? It would have been a great blocker.
You do know that he had more QB pressures that really good year at Florida State than Braden Fisk and Jared Verse combined. You do know that, right?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, combined. By the way, he had 77 of them in 2023. When that 23 Jaden's year? Yeah, 2023 had 70 plus.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's just going to add so much disruption in the passing lanes, and that should help out your DBs, right? It makes it makes a quarterback's quick game that much more difficult when you know that a ball is could get deflected in the air. He did it versus LSU and almost caused a turnover in the second half of that game. So I'm excited about Patrick Payton. He got a single digit as well, so I'm interested to see what he's going to do.
What number did he get? I thought he was 11.
I gave him 6. According to the LSU,
okay.
According to the LSU website, might not be the case, because I know you were.
Dude, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I really don't care about that, because when you go to practice, they give you a roster, and I'm just like, I'll look at it there if I need it.
Right.
But, I'm not the big number guy.
Oh, dude, I freaking love jersey number psychology.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Ahmad Bro's not a DT.
Oh, so what?
If
what
you
do you
wanted to go to an odd man front and put him at 5, I'd be okay with it. I mean, Carter, that interior does worry me, bud. Like it worries me.
It should.
So
it should. Yeah.
Sadir Mitchell did not get moved on Saturday, by the way. They put him in there. I was told that the situation that they put him in, now it is DJ Chester and it is Braylon Moore. Braylon Moore is 285 pounds. Chester did get moved to guard on second team at left guard. That's going to be interesting to see. But he didn't get moved. You ain't gonna, bro. He's 360 pounds. He did not get moved. So I'm interested to see, Carter. Like, are you just doing that because you're running a 4-2 base, 4-3 base? Like, is that what you're doing, or are you gonna mix this up here? Again, Ahmad Bro would be better at it with his size at the current moment to move that at 5 tech. I don't like this part. I love Ahmad Bro, and listen, last time we saw Kyle Williams and Ahmad Bro, great things happened. But you made the kid put on 45 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on now.
Well, I here's the thing I like about Mitchell in particular is that LSU's not had this type of player. And defensive tackle is my favorite thing in the world to discuss more than anything. You haven't had this type of player since Yaki Ika. If you really want to get into the philosophy of the different body types and different things you can do with the nose tackles. And there is something fun about that, right? Someone that's just ungodly big, right? That Tyler Shelvin type of build. It does give you a little bit more versatility. Now, LSU's not had a guy like that in a while because Orgeron, walks Yaki Ika out of the door, which was still crazy to think about. But
even if they let him come back and be a 1 tech,
he was still good. He was still good in the new system. But whatever the case may be, it is nice to have someone of that body type who's willing to put it out there. Look, another thing that's interesting is Texas was so good at defensive tackles. There was a reason why he wasn't playing. They were old. As you know, Alfred Collins, I believe his name, 45. For them was a really good player. 98 was a good player for them as well. 15 was an older year 6 player for them. Mm-hmm. So they were so big and so deep there. Pause. That is the biggest pause I've ever done in my life.
They were girthy. If you were
girthy, they had that meat.
Pause. Hold on.
They were not afraid to clap some cheeks.
You can't say meat and cheeks in the same sentence.
They're
God bless it.
If you need to fill the gap, they will do it.
What you're saying is they were like Arby's. They had the meats.
Yeah, they did. And I look, LSU. You go. I mean, I posted a picture of Chad Lavallee. This was like 20 years ago.
I know. I saw it.
Dude,
yeah.
That dude was a unit, man. I like meat on my defensive tackles. So it's good to have someone who has that size.
Well, look, and Don McKinley's got to hit. At some point, these highly recruited guys that you've had have got to hit.
Right.
I mean, look, Mason Smith, God bless him. Carter, he underperformed. I mean, like, I thought that outside the freshman year, he underperformed. Like,
he ended the season strong, his final year. Really strong.
He's going against Dookie Water State offensive lineman now. I mean, Carter, he had 4 sacks, 2.5 of them came against Wisconsin.
Okay. He won. All right. Into the game versus Wisconsin. And then the week before had the big play to force INT versus A&M.
5-7 A&M.
Yeah, but their offensive line was fine. I mean, they're
Carter, the next
I will agree. It wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be.
No, heavens no.
I would agree with you on that.
Heavens no. To my point, Don McKinley has got to listen to everything Kyle Williams says.
Right. He's got all the tools. We all know that. It was a little bit encouraging that he played a lot more than any one of us thought going into the season. And some of that was Guillory going down. But
can I throw this your way?
Let's go.
They started Ahmad Bro over him.
Yeah. I mean,
which is insane.
Yeah, a guy who just switched to a new position. I'm with you. I'm totally with you on that. So yeah, I do think it's going to be tough for Kyle Williams to come in because there's not a superstar at that position. But hopefully one does emerge, and if it's Ahmad Bro or McKinley or Guillory coming off this injury, it would be
he's still kind of wobbly.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of football, and he's coming off this. It's tough. It's really, really, really tough.
I don't even want a superstar. I want, like, can we, Carter, because we're talking about going to the playoffs or being on the outside looking in at this position. Everything to me can remain the same. Offensively, defensively, things can remain the same if you just change this one thing.
Yeah. Stopping the run, baby.
It comes down to that. Like, literally, you could be the same team that you are and be 9-3, 10-2. That's the part to me that I'm like, brother, it's got to get better there. I am surprised, though, that Jamari Butler, who had his hand in the dirt and would stand up, beat out Jack Pyburn to start. He beat out Pyburn to start. I mean, the edges were Peyton and Butler, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Butler and how they've moved him inside of Nebraska if they move him inside here. I don't know what they're going to do ultimately, but we'll find out. Offensively, Barry and Brown, hello.
Yeah, I mean.
Hey, bud. Let me ask you this. I want to ask Brian Kelly this. Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Barry and Brown. That's going to be your starters throughout the spring. Carter, if you're a defense, what in the God's heaven name do you do? Because you cannot go single high. You can't do it. They'll obliterate your ass. So what do? I mean, it is the LSU's got wet, buddy. I'm going to put it down. I know it's day one of spring. They got weapons. If Nuss is going to push the ball down the field, they got dudes to go get it if they stay healthy. Barry and Brown went off. They were like, he literally came. I heard this. I heard Barry and Brown came to the sideline after his second catch. It went out at the 1. He had a touchdown. And he had a catch. They ended at the 1. He said, I never had a quarterback that could throw me the ball like that. You want to see some shit also? Like, dude was chattering all day. Like, watch this shit. He would tell – I heard that he told a kid a route and beasted him up, shook him up, told him the route. And it's like, I'm here. Like, I'm ready. So, anyway, Carter, what do you do if you're a defense against LSU, though?
Yeah, but I'm with you on Barry and Brown. I mean, he was in one of the worst offenses to be in as a receiver last year. And could he have played better in some instances? Yeah, he had some costly drops. But Blake, as a true freshman, he torched Georgia. That was one of the best wide receiver performances I've ever seen. And when you're dominating,
killed him.
Yeah, just destroyed him. And I was like, man, it's just crazy. But since then, his QB play has gotten worse. And also, Dane Key emerged at Kentucky. So that ate into his production as well. But, man, he is extremely talented. He really is. And the big thing is, of course, the speed. And one thing I like about Barian Brown in actual games, his biggest games came versus the toughest teams, right?
Yep.
So Georgia as a true freshman, then Clemson as a sophomore, and then this past season made the biggest catch arguably in the SEC, the catch versus Ole Miss on 4th and 7. I mean, that changed so much. We didn't think it at the time, but it changed a lot.
Well, but see, that's my point. Knock on wood, Carter. Knock on wood. Do you have wood by you? Knock on it. Knock on it right now. Are you knocking on some wood?
I have no lumber. No,
okay.
No.
When you get done, knock on. Well, find some wood. I want to say something. I can't do it. What do you do if Chris Hilton stays healthy and you get that production at the end of the year from him, and you can go with a tight end, a slot, but have those outside guys who got serious speed to go vertical, and then you have options underneath. By the way, if you're going to go cover 2, are you going to sink on the tight end, or are you going to throw the ball to Harlem Berry? They give you – I'm telling you, they got weapons now. I mean, all right now. They got weapons.
I'm with you. I mean,
it's going to come down to, can they run the football any? But Carter, I'm going to be honest. I don't think you see a single high safety all year. And if what happens, what I think is going to happen, you ain't going to see one.
With these weapons, get Lockheed Martin as an NIL sponsor. I mean, they sponsor bowls. I mean, why not?
But again, what do you do? Like I've asked people that are more knowledgeable about football than me, what do you do against a team with that much speed? I had somebody in the SEC tell me, pray.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this, Blake. If you can't run, you know, they'll just play quarters on you all day, and then it's just comeback football. And then, as you know, this is crazy because I'm normally the one defending Nuss.
Here we go. You brought it up again.
But I will say, Nuss's deep ball accuracy needs to be better.
Get on Carter's ass.
Yeah, hey, look,
they got on my ass last week. Obliterate this man.
Everyone thinks I'm just the biggest Nuss only defender. I just try my best to call it like it is. I really, really, really do.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, then go ahead.
They threw 3 picks. I mean, I say they, the quarterbacks. MBB and Nuss threw 2. Now, I don't know if you take the Jakeem Jackson one from him, like because he got stripped away. I don't really think that
was a ridiculous play. Yeah.
Okay, ridiculous play. Does it bother you that they go out there day one on one-on-ones and are throwing picks?
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
It bothers me. Can I tell you why it bothers me? I'm going to get ridiculed. Here we go. You know why it bothers me? Because you have a brand new corner room.
Yeah, but always in spring ball, the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. I mean, offense is Carter, so much timing.
You can't have that many turnovers in the season. The first day that we see you out in spring, you have more.
I can live with them.
Okay.
Now if it happens throughout spring,
here they come. Here they come. I'm gonna get popped on this. I'm gonna get killed.
Look, Nuss knows
I'm done.
I am 10 toes down to defend.
It's an hour and 8 minutes into the show. I'm done with it. But see, here's the problem that I have at the current moment. If we were out there on Saturday and that happened, and I come in the show and I say that it happened, then what? Because here's the truth. Source me all you want to. I guarantee you it happened. Carter, before any video was posted on Saturday, I did a baseball post game. I called the Jakeem Jackson play. I was like, this is what happened. He stripped the ball from Nick Anderson, and then a kid posted it. I'm not lying when it comes to this. So stop coming at me for saying what happened. What is your perception of it? Like, that's all I'm asking. I'm not killing the kid for asking he threw 2 picks. What do you want me to do?
We'll see. We'll get a few more practices.
All right, last thing for you. Caleb Jackson's still too big.
Okay, well then make him a fullback. Make him an H-back. Make him a Kyle Juszczyk. And then get under center and run the damn ball.
He's got to get better. I'm going to tell you a hot take that nobody's going to agree with you. We need him more than anybody. Because if he can just put his head down and get 4 yards, get us 4 yards in the running game. We need him to be better, Carter. I don't care what.
I'm with you. I mean, we were both huge fans of him, and I will say that, and I try not to get too carried away with practice reports. I talk to you, and I talk to people that are there for the full practices, but I don't actually go to the practices. I will say, Caleb Jackson has dominated so many practices, like just dominated, and for him. Like there was that one scrimmage where he literally lit everybody up, as it was before this past season or the year before, and it was in the fall, I believe. Either way, you were like, there's just no way that this guy isn't going to be at least Darrell Williams. Like you would say that was his floor. Like he was going to be Kenny Hilliard or someone like that. And for him to have as poor of a season as he had was shocking. Now, once again, there's 1,000 different excuses you could point to, but I'm still going to believe in him and wish him the best.
We'll see, man. All right, Carter, the Power Bryant. We'll be out there Wednesday, so we are here, buddy. Thank you for joining us.